Courtney asked, should I have my preschool be an LLC or a sole proprietor? I don't know which one to choose. I didn't know which one to choose either when I got started, and honestly, those words were like foreign to me. It sounded like lions and tigers and bears, oh my, LLC, EIN, sole proprietorship, oh my, right? Like for real. They're foreign, they're scary, they feel like if you choose the wrong one, you're destined for a failure. I totally get where the question comes from. When I started, I didn't know too much other than every business that I'd ever heard about was a sole proprietorship. I thought that was just the way to go. I didn't know too much about LLC other than it kind of cost a lot of money, so maybe I shouldn't go that route. And I knew that sole proprietorship was easy, it was cheap, so that seemed like the right way to go my very first year of preschool. However, I can tell you that as I started my preschool as a sole proprietor, I quickly learned that maybe that wasn't the right choice for me, at least for the future. Maybe at that moment it worked out, but definitely not for the future as my preschool started to grow. The reason why is I learned that as a sole proprietor, you have your family personal assets, but then guess what? You have your business assets too, but they're actually all rolled into one. And so what would happen is, let's say that something unfortunate happened in your preschool to one of your students. If a family sued you, then they would literally be able to sue not only your preschool, but if your preschool wasn't able to cover the damages or whatever the judge determined that you needed to pay for that family, they could go after anything in your personal assets, your house, your cars, your bank account, literally anything, to try to get the money for the damages for this family. And so I was like, whoa, wait a second. If something happens, God forbid, and this family sues me, or any family sues me, holy cow, like I don't want to have to file for bankruptcy just because, like, my gosh, right? So I was super concerned about, wait a second, like I don't feel protected anymore in my business. We were starting to grow. We had 24 students and then 40, then 48. And every time I would literally walk my students out to go to the park next door, we would have to cross a road. And it's in a subdivision, granted, so it's very small. There was very little traffic. I was always super careful whenever we crossed the road, but I always had in the back of my head, if something happened, holy cow, I would literally be ruined. And it was not worth it. So I started doing a ton of research and then came across this whole concept of sole proprietor, or LLC. The LLC you can literally imagine as a big protective bubble. If this is your personal assets, that LLC pretty much puts a protective shield around it, because what happens is an LLC, it literally separates your personal assets from your business assets. And so you have your preschool over here, yeah? And let's say something happened to a child or whatever, somebody sued you, they could literally take all of your business assets. That is a thing, right? But that's where it would stop. There is a wall between the business and the personal assets. They could not access your personal assets because you would be an LLC, limited liability company, or corporation, who knows, go look it up. But anyways, then I realized, wait, that's exactly what I need, because as I start growing, the risks get higher. I wanted to hire teachers, and I wanted to make sure that if I couldn't, like, yes, I would try everything I could do to keep a child safe, and I know my teachers would try obviously too, but just in case, right? So eventually I did decide to go from being a sole proprietor to an LLC, and I will tell you, best decision, one of the best decisions I've ever done in my business. Highly recommend it for you, for literally from the beginning. I would not ever do my preschool again being a sole proprietor. If I had to start a new preschool, doesn't matter how many students I would have, I would start it as an LLC, because I just don't want the risk, right? When I was early, I didn't know too much about the risk, so I just started it. But having very well known all about the risk now, there's no way I would ever do as a sole proprietor now. So that's something to definitely think about, is how to do an LLC. It's very easy. Literally just go to Google, type in LLC, Secretary of State, and your state, and you'll be able to find the form to file for your LLC. It should be about $100 or less. Little quick gold nugget here. if you are having a business partner or a spouse that is part of your preschool business, you definitely want to think about filing an LLC, Articles of Organization. Now, you don't have to do that, but that's the secondary part of being an LLC, that when you file that Articles of Organization, it actually stipulates how much equity both of you have in the company or multiple partners. As my husband and I were both in our preschool business, I made sure to file our Articles of Organization to very clearly state that we both had 50-50% equity. And just a quick circle back on a different thing, someone had mentioned the question about a DBA. And so as far as a DBA, it's called doing business as. So you could be Joy doing business as Perfect Preschool. And the point is that you have to have a DBA in that name in order to be able to do business as anything other than your name, right? I could have Joy Anderson's Preschool. Awesome. I don't have to have a DBA as long as my name is in the preschool, right? But if you're doing any other preschool name without your name in it, then you would want to have a DBA. It's very cheap. You can also Google DBA Secretary of State and find that as well, so that you can make sure you get that organized. You want to do all of this stuff though, guys, before you ever go to the bank to open up a bank account, because what's the bank going to ask for? Your business name, right? And you will have to have it already registered with the state and all that good stuff. So that is how all of this works out. You get your DBA, you file as a sole proprietorship or an LLC. Please do LLC. And then also at the very end, you go get your EIN from the IRS and literally Google IRS EIN. And it's just basically, instead of using your social security number on your receipts that you give out at the end of the year, you can use an EIN for the families so that they can give that information to the IRS and you protect your social security number. Now, I went through this in about 5 minutes, but guess what? This goes in detail in our Preschool in a Box. So if you want to get your preschool started quick, make sure you check out Preschool in a Box and I will help you and guide you through that entire process. Hey, have you heard about Preschool in a Box? It's literally the one thing I wished I had when I started my preschool 10 years ago. It would have saved me so much time and so much money. Instead, I did the wrong things at the wrong time. Waste of time, I tell you. I can't wait to tell you all about Preschool in a Box. All the things I wished I had, like curriculum. Oh my gosh, can I even tell you how many hours I spent every single night on Pinterest and Facebook groups and the blogs and Google trying to find activities to do for lessons the next day. Or forms. What the heck was I supposed to give to my preschool families? What was I supposed to include in a policies and procedures handbook? Or marketing. How was I supposed to sign up kids? I had a preschool to fill and I had money that I needed at the end of the month, but how was I going to get that tuition, right? All of those components are inside of Preschool in a Box and a whole lot more. I want to get you Preschool in a Box. I've got an exclusive opportunity for you. When you join our Preschool All-Stars membership, not only will you be surrounded by myself and hundreds of preschool owners cheering you on during your journey, you get an exclusive discount on Preschool in a Box. I am talking out of this world. When people see it, they kind of lose their mind. They're so excited, ready to grab it right away. I can't wait to get you your exclusive discount on Preschool in a Box. Just join Preschool All-Stars. Click the link in the description or go to preschoolallstars.com. It's gonna be like Christmas. So if you want to get your preschool started quick, make sure you check out Preschool in a Box and I will help you and guide you through that entire process. Post in the comments below which one of these is most confusing to you. EIN, LLC, sole proprietorship, DBA, all the terms, right? Post in the comments. I'll do a quick follow-up video on any of these terms that you guys have a question about. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and share so I can get more of these videos to you.